I have played Call of Dragons for 1123 days, and I can say honestly my main motivation have been to always fight, because I believe Call of Dragons are only fun whenever players are fighting with each other, because we have one of the best PvP open field gameplay in all Kingdom Builder games. In this video, I want to share top 5 legendary heroes for every single troop type, which you should invest because you will get highest value out of all of them, right? Because it's already in Season 3, we have a lot of heroes in Call of Dragons for every single troop type, and understanding which one will give you most merits, which one is the best one, is the most crucial, especially for free-to-play players, because we can't buy daily specials, we can't buy daily tokens, we have to gather legendary tokens, which are quite limited, and that's why I believe understanding the main heroes in Call of Dragons is the highest priority decisions which you have to make, no matter which is your main troop type. So, we have 5 heroes here, which we're gonna discuss. It doesn't really matter which one is top 1, top 3, top 2, and top 5. Every single one of them is the best heroes for current troop type, right? Of course, as an archer player, archer main, I will be speaking at first regarding archer heroes. And yeah, as you can see, we have quite a lot of legendary heroes in archer troop type, right? But not every single one of them are the best ones, right? Some of them are giving you average merits, some of them are giving you low merits, and some of them are giving you highest merits. So, for archer players in Season 3 and forward, the best archer hero in terms of getting merits in open field, which you have to invest, is Ruby, right? Ruby is unique archer hero. We know for archers there is a 2 playstyle, skill damage factor, which is a rage user, and normal attack crit rate heroes, right? Ruby is basically everything together. Ruby has skill damage factor, Ruby can deal damage to 3 nearby legions and even more. Ruby has quite a good amount of skill damage factor if we're gonna think that she's quite good even with normal attacks. Skill damage factor 1.1k and normal attack damage factor is 300. But one of the highest priorities is this hero because you will be able to deal damage to nearby targets, right? And we know that during the war situations, during the open field gameplay, dealing damage to multiple targets will always give you more merits, because it's never 1 versus 1 fights, it's never duels, it's all about attacking multiple targets. Infantry army groups, cavalry army groups, players are using 5 marches at the same time, and of course Ruby is the priority, right? You have to awaken Ruby as fast as possible if you are archer player, or if you want to have at least 1 good archer hero pair. Now, in terms of hero pair for Ruby, Ruby and Kylan is the best archer hero pair in Season 3. This hero pair is going to give you highest merits for any archer hero pair. That's why I believe Ruby should be your priority. In terms of talents, marksman, PvP, precision, I always go for precision talent trees with my archer heroes, especially for open field PvP heroes. This is my talent trees for Ruby. I like Mark of the War. Well, Mighty Slash is good, but I don't like that this is triggered only every 20 seconds. That's not enough, right? This is more consistent, that's why I like this one more. And never forget that dedication will give you a lot of merits, because healing also gives merits in Call of Dragons, and I believe healing is amazing, especially for archer heroes. Of course, I will give you a secondary tip. If you have already awakened Ruby, and if you have already 5155 Kylan, I believe second priority for archer players, that's Magrat and Zaida, right? Ruby, Kylan, Magrat, Zaida, these are the 2 hero pairs which you have to have in order for you to get good merits, at least 12 million merits every single KvK. If you want to see how these two hero pairs are actually performing, I have a lot of open field videos on my channel. Check it out, check merits, and you will understand how good this hero is. For Ruby, Roaring Rager is the best artifact, which you have to make level 5 because of the additional effect. This is the most unique additional effect in the game. And of course, for the Warped, Wind Whistle is amazing. You have to add Advanced Chain Strike, and the amount of healing you are going to get from the Wind Whistle will be absolutely amazing, right? Basically, that's enough talks for Archer mains and Archer players. Let's move towards Cavalry, right? Cavalry is really weird, right? Because Cavalry players are playing with 5 marches. March speed should be synced up, but even here, there is a couple of heroes which are super important, which are super amazing, and which will give you most merits if we are comparing to other Cavalry heroes. We know that there is Agnar and Freya as a new Cavalry heroes, but as an investment priority right now, I believe that's still Urag, right? Urag deals most damage. Urag and Tobin actually together, Tobin gives more tankiness, but Urag is basically full damage cavalry hero, which you have to have as a cavalry player. If you don't have Awakened Urag and you are playing with Cavalry as a main, unfortunately you are missing out tons of merits. You can ask all the Cavalry players which you have in your alliance. Everybody will say to you that Urag should be one of the highest priorities which you have in Cavalry heroes, right? You have to awaken this hero because awakening skill gives you additional damage, but it's not even awakening hero, right? You have to have all the skills which Urag has on a level 5 because it gives you a lot of damage, especially the force skill. 10% HP bypass and rage accumulation speed bonus is the most important offensive skill sets which cavalry heroes can have. I know Urag is a G3 hero, and I think most of the players should have already awakened Urag, right? As I said, in terms of marksman and archer heroes, I will tell you the second priority legendary hero which is mandatory for cavalry players. And that's of course Neya, right? Neya is basically one of the most unique cavalry heroes in the game because Neya has something which other cavalry heroes does not have. That's of course camouflage, right? Camouflage legions are harder for non-friendly lords to detect. Basically, you are invisible. And we all know how cavalry players are playing this game. You have to be sneaky, you have to understand when to attack, because if you attack once, it's really hard to go back, right? Because everybody is trying to focus you because you have a highest damage, especially towards mages and archers. That's why this one new feature which was added to the cavalry players, camouflage, is a super important feature for cavalry players. So basically, Urag and Neya is currently in Season 3 highest priority cavalry hero investments, which every single cavalry player should be investing in these two heroes. Of course, even if you are not cavalry main and if you don't want to have 5 marches as a cavalry player, having Urag and Neya together with camouflage will be enough for you to get tons of merits. It has a really fun gameplay. Imagine you are invisible, nobody can actually see you, you are sneaky, you can catch one mage march or one archer march who is trying to refill on the battlefield, and trust me, you will make a lot of your opponents cry and mad if you know how to use camouflage with Urag and Neya together, right? In terms of artifacts, I believe you can choose many artifacts for this hero pair, but let's go with the Lunaris, right? Lunaris is great because it has additional effect with camouflage, basically giving us haste and 10% hero skill damage for 15 seconds. 15 seconds is quite a lot of time in order for you to deal full damage and go back, right? That's why even if you are not cavalry main, I would still say, and you want to have at least one good cavalry hero pair, go for Urag and Neya. You are not going to regret your decision. That's basically it for cavalry, and let's move on towards infantry, right? And we all know how popular infantry heroes have been in this game since Goresh and Skogul. There have been OP, Kuma and Lake 1 have been OP, and Joren and Alnir is also really good. But in my opinion, one of the highest priority infantry investments in Call of Dragons is Kuma. Kuma has something which other heroes does not have. It might not have like a lot of defensive stats, not even defense or HP, but it has life drain, right? Life drain is super important. This is one of the most tanky infantry heroes which we have in the game, especially if you are attacking somebody. If you are just running, Kuma might not be the highest tanky infantry hero, but if you are attacking somebody, you are draining the life from that hero. Trust me, you will have one of the best tanky infantry hero in the game, right? Of course, Kuma is PvP hero, which means every single skill which we have as a Kuma will be important for open field PvP, and that's really crucial, right? I always say highest priority should be the PvP heroes because every single level matters, right? And that's especially great for free-to-play players because you never want to add levels on rally or garrison skills because it's basically wasteful, right? Because you want to be strong in open field PvP as a free-to-play player to actually enjoy Call of Dragons gameplay. Basically, Kuma should be your priority. Of course, for Kuma, we have Artifact, which is especially amazing, especially for Kuma, and that's, of course, Serpent's Edge. Why it's so important, right? It's, of course, giving you defensive stats and some offensive stats, but you are getting 30% HP, right? 30% HP bonus is huge. In general, you know, I have been saying for a long time, defensive stats is amazing in Call of Dragons, even for archer heroes, but it's especially great for infantry heroes. So, Serpent's Edge is the priority artifact for Kuma gameplay. As we said, in terms of cavalry and in terms of archers, if you already have Kuma awakened, that's good job, you are doing amazingly well. Secondary, which hero you want to put your legendary tokens, that's of course newest infantry hero, Joren, right? Another PvP hero, totally different towards Kuma. Joren might not be the most tanky, but Joren does one of the highest amount of counterattack damage out of all infantry legendary heroes, right? And if you're gonna check the skills, it will be easy for you to understand, right? Counterattack damage bonus 20%, counterattack damage bonus 10%, counterattack damage factor 200. Basically, almost every single skill is giving you increased counterattack damage, and trust me, if as an infantry player, if you are running around in battlefield, you will get targeted, and the opponents who doesn't have a good warped or good levels on hero skills, they will suffer because they are going to lose HP super fast. So, second priority for infantry players, Joren. But I believe Kuma and Joren should be awakened as an infantry mains. You will have a lot of fun, you will get a lot of merits as an infantry main if you are having these two legendary heroes awakened. Hopefully, later when we're gonna have G6 heroes, they won't gonna be too strong, but unfortunately it's been infantry meta for a long time because it's been super hard for archer and mage players to actually defeat those infantry super fast, and we know how important infantry is in this game, right? It's impossible to take behemoths without infantry, impossible to win wars without infantry, so you have to have good infantry heroes and hero pairs in your alliance, and especially if you are infantry main in Call of Dragons. That's it for infantry, and of course we are going to check out the mages, right? Which have been struggling, let's be honest, mages have been struggling a lot, right? So, number one priority for mage players, or for not even mage players, if you want to have at least one good mage hero pair, that's Young Ming. Young Ming is basically most important mage hero for mage players. Why? Well, it's easy, right? We always wanted mage heroes to deal damage to multiple targets. That's have been the priority, right? That's why Bertrand have not been the best one. Same for Tohar, same for Thalia. Well, Thunderlin and Thunderlin can actually deal damage to multiple targets, but it's controlled. It's basically dealing damage by the debuff. But Young Ming is totally different. Young Ming can deal damage to multiple targets, and what's the most unique about Young Ming is, of course, he does not even need rage. Basically, you are cannon and you are shooting out missiles every 2 seconds. Of course, Young Ming is PvP hero, and what's also important is that Young Ming have a skill talent tree, right? Whenever you are building Young Ming, remember you should not really put talents on rage talents, because we don't have rage on Young Ming, and you can basically go for talents for full damage. Every single skill has a perfect synergy with each other, and I believe you have to awaken Young Ming as fast as possible, especially if you are mage main. In terms of artifact, well, Dragon's Fate should be the main artifact for Young Ming, and it also deals damage to 5 nearby legions, which is amazing, and the additional effect is basically perfect for Young Ming gameplay. Also, for the war pet, Flaming Manticore should be the war pet. Unfortunately, I'm not a mage main, that's why I don't have Flaming Manticore, but Flaming Manticore should be the primary choice for the mage players who are investing in Young Ming. Let's say you already have Young Ming awakened. Who might be the second most important hero for mage players? That's Season 1 legendary hero, Lilia, right? But what we have to say regarding Lilia, if you don't have Lilia awakened, I believe she is not good. Because awakening Lilia means that she can give torch to 2 nearby legions. If Lilia is not awakened, Lilia can deal damage to only 1 legion, right? 2 nearby legions. Scorch is really important because it's a ticking time bomb like a poison, and well, before Young Ming, Lilia was the primary legendary hero for every single mage player, right? So that's for the mages. Young Ming, Lilia. For Garrison, Gromara is also really good. But we are talking about open field PvP, and Young Ming should be the priority. The last troop type which you're gonna speak is, of course, overall troop type, right? And for the overall gameplay, I believe the priority should be Musyang. Legendary Musyang should be the priority if you want to have at least one awakened legendary overall hero, because Musyang is used with cavalry, with infantry, with mages, and with archers, right? Basically, one of the most unique legendary heroes in the game, and one of the most versatile, right? Also, Musyang has something which none of the heroes have: healing received reduction. We know that even Uma has healing, Margaret has healing, almost every single archer has healing because of Advanced Chain Strike, and Musyang will be the only hero who is going to reduce healing for your opponents. That's really crucial. Not only that, you're gonna get AoE healing for all of your marches, and you are going to get Keen and 50 Rage for your march. Basically, one of the most versatile legendary heroes in the game. If you want to have one overall hero, Musyang should be the choice. But if you have already awakened Musyang, I believe Thea will be the second hero, which should be the choice, right? Thea is different to Musyang because Thea is flying hero, and we know that every single faction has a different flying units. Thea will be used for every single faction, for the Eagles, for Spring Wardens, for Celestials in League of Order, and for the Wilderberg with Wyverns. Basically, second tier versatile hero, especially amazing from the flying units. But generally, I believe Musyang is better. If you want to run for the flying units, Thea will be the choice. So what's the trick, right? How you can understand which hero is the primary hero for investment? We're gonna click on PvP heroes, and these heroes are generally amazing to invest, especially for free-to-play players, because every single skill is usable in open field PvP. For rally heroes, there is -1 skill. You can see here, for example, the rally skill here, the last one, which won't gonna be usable in open field, and same for garrison. That's why for the all free-to-play players and pay-to-play players, you have to remember PvP legendary heroes are much better for the investment in terms of open field PvP. Hopefully, after watching this video, it will be easier for you to decide which legendary heroes you have to awaken in Season 3 and onwards. And as always, if you like the video, press like, subscribe and share. It gives me more and more motivation to make more content for this game. I wish everybody an amazing day, morning and night. We are going to see each other really soon. Bye bye and good luck.